Carlotta is an expensive girl, and that means that she will demand all of your astrites. And since you're a generous benefactor of House Montelli, you may have a few thousand astrites laying around, or you've saved up all your corals to grab a couple of sequences. Wuthering Waves is a game that doesn't require sequence to beat any of the content, but man, it sure is fun to abuse the powers at your disposal. I would recommend getting sequences for your healer, like Shorekeeper, if you actually want to boost your account's overall power, because if you invest into a DPS, you'll only be investing into that DPS. Meanwhile, if you're investing into a healer like Shorekeeper, she's basically used in every single team, so you'll definitely have a better time overall. But despite that, you may just really want to spoil your girl Carlotta. My name is Void Enigma, and I'll be going through a rundown of Carlotta's sequences and the impact that they will bring to your account if you have them. I'll also let you know my recommendations and if they're worth your hard-earned coral or astrites. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and let's get right into it. Her first sequence on the chain is Beauty Blazes Brightest before it fades, and boy does it. At the cost of being an informant for the Montelli family, and being able to glance at Carlotta during important family interactions, you get a very powerful start to unlocking her full potential. Firstly, there is a debuff in Carlotta's kit dubbed Deconstruction. The debuff lasts for 4 seconds and it allows you to ignore 18% of the defense of the enemy that has this debuff. To inflict the debuff, all you need to do is hit her Liberation, Resonance skill, Heavy Attack, or Intro skill. This sequence will boost the crit rate of every attack on the enemy by 12.5%, meaning as long as you refresh the Deconstruction, it will be active 100% of the time. In addition to this, she will be able to use the second part of her Resonance skill to gain 30 points to her Forte gauge, which will fill it by 1/4, and this will greatly smooth out her rotations. This is a powerful sequence, and the innate 12% crit rate boost is just the icing on the cake. This is a big boost in her overall output as long as you have enough energy to keep using her Liberation, and it's just a good quality of life. Definitely a great sequence. Fallen petals give life to new blooms, and you've just been upgraded to the bodyguard of House Montelli, as well as being able to access her second sequence, and it's honestly very straightforward. It simply makes her Liberation do more damage. Yep, pretty simple. How much more damage are we talking about here? Well, how about we double it? Yeah, her S2 practically doubles the damage output of her Liberation by increasing the overall damage multiplier by 126%. This will make her tear through enemies like a glacial bullet shredding through butter. Wait, would that freeze the butter instead? Anyway, Adelante Cortado spinning in grace says you are finally welcome to the weekly Montelli family meeting, and unlocking her third sequence is quite frankly a very nice treat. She will be able to do significant bursts of extra damage when she triggers her outro skill, and on top of that, more multipliers. This is actually going to be a gigantic boost to her Resonance skill damage, increasing the damage multiplier by 93%. Insane value here as well, but keep in mind that the brunt of her damage is still tied to her Liberation, so this isn't as significant of an increase as it might actually seem, so just be wary of that. Yesterday's raindrops make finest wine, and unlocking her fourth sequence makes your longing for Carlotta intensify. And boy, oh boy, Carlotta has finally returned your gaze. My favorite team with Carlotta is definitely pairing her with Chun-Li, and this makes it worthwhile. This will increase the entire team's Resonance skill damage by 25% for 30 seconds simply by using her Heavy Attack, which you should already be doing. This will make her an exceptional teammate alongside Yinlin, Jinshi, and effectively just makes her become a party buffer. But she won't just be a party buffer because you have begun to court the most prestigious and beautiful member of the Montelli family. The wine must taste good because you get to sip it every day. And along with sipping wine with Carlotta, you can then toast the past today and every day to come. The marriage proposal is struck if the Montelli family has graced you to become their son or daughter. It is a celebratory experience to add you to the Montelli family, and Carlotta has taken your hand. Just like how her fifth sequence is another straightforward one. Increasing her damage multiplier on her Heavy Attack, it's honestly nothing to write home about because the Heavy Attack is the least damaging part of her kit, but you expected this much as you are now part of the family. You've worked up from an informant, and now you're going to be Carlotta's husband or wife. Oh, What's this? As the marriage is to begin, just as the curtains fall, I remain what I am. Having taken Carlotta's hand, an assassination plot has been sprung against you. However, to reiterate the sequence, as the curtains fall, I remain what I am. Nothing can pierce through the veil of time for your love for Carlotta, and no one will dare face your might. Well, Carlotta's might, because she will protect her honored spouse. So you know Shen Liao can, stop time, along with Spectral Rover. Well, Carlotta, along with this sequence, take things to a whole nother level. Her 6th and final sequence will increase the damage multipliers of her attacks by a staggering 186%, by essence of doubling the crystal stars that spray out as well as peaking the damage. But not only that, she will immobilize the target with every shot that she takes, rendering them effectively useless for the duration of her liberation. This liberation is a tool to whack the enemies, and you get to experience her blowjob firsthand, as she performs her family duty to protect you and make her spouse the happiest person alive. Congratulations! You've earned the first-class experience of Carlotta's blowing her load from her shotgun, and no enemy shall remain alive for this attack. None. What a beautiful end of this story. Carlotta's overall sequences are quite good. Every part of her resonance chain, besides of course her S5, is significantly beneficial towards her damage, but it all mainly just increases damage. Her S1 and S6 do have gameplay changes, which in my eyes makes them more sought after, but who doesn't like the substantial boost to her liberation damage from her S2? At the end of the day though, this game requires no sequences, and you should only grab them if you really want to be happy with Carlotta and Carlotta only. Not because you're struggling to clear content. If you plan on taking Carlotta to the next level, then I would suggest that you do grab her S1, as it smooths out her gameplay tremendously. Well, not really, she actually feels pretty good at S0 either way, but it'll smooth out her gameplay slightly. Her S2 is a major upgrade to the damage of her liberation, and this is where dolphins and longtime savers need to stop. This will be the strongest that your Carlotta will be for the lowest cost. If you really feel like balling out and want Carlotta to display diamonds instead of crystals, then you'll want to go for her S4, as this unlocks many team options for you to actually buff the resident skill damage of other characters. Chun-Li, Jin-Si, and Yin-Lin all around buffs. Now, these teams actually work already, but with this buff they just become that much better. Although at this point, your Carlotta will be destroying everything anyway, so you're kinda entering into speedrunning territory at this point. Her S5 is quite literally useless. In terms of the overall dance of damage, it's the least engaging part of her kit. Her S6, however, is where all the money's at. If you want to play the game on easy mode, this is where you want to focus your efforts, at the cost of a down payment for your new car. Nonetheless, I'm seriously considering going for Carlotta's S1, but it also depends on how smooth she feels at S0, and she's still overall great. For those of you who are on the fence, play around with Carlotta for at least a week, get her rotations down, and then you can look into getting any sequences if you're not satisfied. She feels great at S0, and if you want more sequences to make her feel even better, then by all means go for it. After all, whoever said that you could marry Carlotta in one mere day? Maybe over the course of a couple of reruns, you can then have her hand. Comment down below how far into the family you got with Carlotta this update, or how far you plan on going. Unfortunately for me, with S0, I merely know that she exists, but maybe in the future I can become an informant, depending on how I feel or how my luck glows, and maybe down the line, I may just grab more sequences. Go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. This has been Void Enigma, and thank you so much for watching until the end. Until next time, Enigma out.